The name is Danyl Styles, a fashion designer here from Mr. Royalty, and I am a millennial on the move. I'll make sure when you're venturing into fashion, you're getting into fashion because of the right reasons. Don't do it because someone else is doing, because at the end of the day, if someone else is the one that's making you do it, what happens when they stop? Will you also stop? So first of all, when I was growing up, when I got into campus and after I finished Form 4, I usually loved looking good. That is one avenue that I really explored. Like every time I used to just dress, people would tell me, hey, you look good. And I was like, probably I can turn this into business. So, the more I was encouraged by people, that's the more I ventured into it, and I just found myself getting addicted to it, and that's how I came into fashion. And the reason why I chose the name Mr. Royalty is because if you go and look at my pages, all of my work, even what I'm wearing right now, there is usually a touch of royalty in whatever that I do, in whatever that I wear. So I found that the name really goes well with my work, because even if I do suits, most of the suits that I usually do are the suits that, they're not the normal type of suits. They're just something different, something royal, and that's why I chose Mr. Royalty, because I feel like that name identifies so well with me. Fashion is quite a broad industry, and I feel like there are only two things that usually excite me, that I love doing. Number one is making people look good. I feel so proud of myself when I see people dressed out of their comfort zone, looking good, like when I'm doing a wedding for someone, when someone is going for an interview, and they usually call me and then tell me, the first thing that I did when I got into that interview, I was complimented and told that I look good, and I usually take pride in that. So one of the things that I enjoy in fashion is making people look amazing, making people look good, making people so happy on their day. I usually just love that. And another thing I also love is looking good myself. I mean, as a fashion designer, you have to, look the part. So that's also another thing that I usually enjoy, playing around with different designs just to get different looks. And yes, that's what I love more about fashion. I've been born in Nairobi, Ngara here to be precise. All my life I've been brought up in Nairobi, and it was a fun journey. We survived with the least that we could have, that we got, and that's life. And I feel like that experience from my childhood all the way right now, that is what has shaped me to be the person that I am today, because through the struggles that I've been brought up with is you just get some skills through some struggles that you get. I'm trying to retract and look back, and funniest thing, I feel like at different stages of life I was a different type of boy, because as far as I can remember, when my mom, there's some memories you cannot remember unless your parent usually tells you. So I remember when I was a very small child, my mom told me you were like the counselor of the kids. Every kid was just coming, where's Dan, where's Dan, where's Dan? So they'd come I don't know, 10 kids, 12 kids, and then we just go, and then I don't even know where I used to take them, but they just used to follow me. So and as I grew up, I'd say I was a bookworm, because I used to study hard. I studied hard all the way to university. I passed well. Life in high school was good. I cannot complain. I went to a school in Machakos that's called Kaba High School. We didn't have a fashion class or something, but we had an art class. And I was an art student from 1, from 2. Before I went to do computer, I had to switch after high school. I honestly didn't know what I'm gonna do. I was just in the dark, and I had to figure that out for myself. So after high school, I was employed at Gikomba. I went to Gikomba, I was employed there. I used to be paid around 200 shillings per day, and that's what I survived on. I mean, I am a hustler, being brought up in town, being brought up in Nairobi. That is a life that you have to go through. So I went to Gikomba, I was hustling there, and that is where when my fashion journey started. And okay, I had two lives back then. I had the school life and I had the fashion life. So I had interest in fashion, but at the end of the day, I had to look at school. So I performed well. I got a B+. I was called to the University of Nairobi. And the problem, I don't know, I feel like this is a problem in Kenya. Hopefully one day it's gonna be addressed. I don't know if it's changed, but I tend to believe it's the same thing right now. Once you finish high school, you really don't have much of a choice on what you can do. There's a list of courses that your cluster points add up in whatever you can do. So it's up to you to look at the options and get to see on this and this and this option, this is where I can fit myself. But you see, at the end of the day, even if you're doing that, that is not something that's coming from the heart. Because at the end of the day, you're being told these are your points and this is what you can do. I really wish there was a system whereby when a kid is small, whatever interest it is that they have, they get cultured in that interest. It grows in them so that at the end of the day, when that kid reaches 18, at least they have a purpose, they have a place where they can go, rather than just finishing high school and then you're told these are your marks and this and this and this is what you're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, you'll get someone that's going there, but not because that's what they want, but because that's where they fit. And at the end of the day, most of these people you'll find they've gone to that course, but they have a very hard time fitting into that course. Because at the end of the day, it's like they don't belong. That's why you'll get people in campus switching from this course to this course to this course, because they're still trying to find themselves. So I was called to do wildlife management and conservation, and yeah, that's what I did until I finished. Once you get into university in Kenya, whatever it is that you're doing, there's one reality that we all have to face in Kenya. I won't say it's impossible, but the job market is a very hard nut to crack. I mean, I'm comparing it with other countries, the developed countries. I mean, yes, we are in the developing world, but it's quite a crisis. So at the back of my mind, when I was doing my classes in wildlife management and conservation, I had one thought at the back of my mind. There's a possibility that I might finish this course and at the end of the day I don't get a job. So I had to sit down and think, if I don't get a job, then what next? So I was like, let me try and think of something that I can be doing as something on the side, so that at the end of the day, if I finish and I don't get employed, at least there is something that can push me as I look for employment. So like I said, I had an interest in fashion and I started pursuing that. The good thing about campus is that in a day you might be having 2 classes, 3 classes. In a day there is no class. So most of the times when I'm having classes, I used to wake up very early, go to Gikomba like 5 a.m. and I get to pick a few things that I feel is good. And then by 9 p.m. I'm in the class. 9 a.m. I'm in the class. So that's what I used to do. So for starters, it started as a hobby. But as I went through, most of my lecturers used to compliment me and tell me, you look good. Where did you get that? Even my classmates, can I get that? So I was like, but this is something that I can do. So I was like, okay, so different people used to ask me, can I get this? Can I get this? And I'm like, yeah, I can get it. So I just go to Gikomba, it's being sold at 200, it's being sold at 300. And I take to the tailors who are usually there at Gikomba some few alterations. And then I come and sell it at 600, at 700. So, I used to get 200, 300 profit. And that is what motivated me to venture into the journey of fashion more and more, because I felt that I was appreciated. And that's how I started my journey. So through my fashion line, my fashion journey, I've been having different achievements. But one of my biggest achievement was opening a brand. I mean, it's not easy. If you've ever managed a business, you know how hard that is. So me being able to launch Mr. Royalty as a brand, it was a dream come true. Me having, you know, a space of my own where I can, show my own creativity is good. Another thing that I took achievement in is working with big names in the industry, celebrities, just people who are public figures out there. As I was growing, that is one thing that I really wanted to do. And I didn't see myself doing it, but right now, to get to a point whereby, you know, different public figures are reaching out to you in the DM, I need you to dress me, I need you to do a project with me, I feel like that's a very big achievement. One of the lessons that I've learned is don't listen too much to people. It's good to take opinions, but you shouldn't make the opinions part of you. Because so many people, when you're trying to start something, they're going to try and tell you, you know, you cannot do this, you cannot achieve this. And if you don't have it in your heart that this is what you want to do, at the end of the day, you're gonna get discouraged. So if you believe in something, you get to understand that you're the only person that's seeing the bigger picture. So before you bring other people in board, make sure you've decided to pursue that. Make sure that's what you want to do and you're pushing on it. Because at the end of the day, no one can support you if they feel like, you know, you're not sure in what you're doing. They have to see the fruits, even if they're just small fruit. They have to see the hard work. They have to see you pushing so that they can come on board. So that's one of the lessons that I've learned. Another thing is that at the end of the day, when you're doing this thing, like I said, it's just tied to the same point. Do not depend on people to help you start whatever it is that you're starting, because you'll get very, very disappointed. Do not rely on someone, like, you know, you need someone to give you this money so you can start, because what happens if they don't give you the money? What happens then? Does it mean that you'll stop following your journey? So at the end of the day, when you're starting something, make sure you have your back. Even if it's not 100%, make sure you have your back at least 98%, so that if someone that's coming in with a 2% fails, you still have 98, and 98 is good and you can work with that. So right now we're living in a digital era, and there's a lot out there on social media, and I usually derive a lot of inspiration from the social media world. I get to look at what people like Paris Henry is doing, the guy in New York City, the Musica Freire. So those are people I usually follow on Instagram. Those are people that I usually look, even Nigeria. Those are people that I usually look up to. So many brands out there. You just get to follow, you get to see what they're doing, because, you know, I feel like those are the people who are pioneer of the fashion industry in the world. So I usually look up to them, and I usually try and derive inspiration from them, see how they're doing different designs, the latest trend, and yeah, that's what's pushed me through. All along, since quite a while back, I've been also getting international clients. I've done weddings in America, I've done weddings in Australia, you get clients in Europe, and most of them usually get to ask you, can I get this and this fabric? Because you see, like, the fabrics that are here and the fabrics that, are in Europe and Australia, it's a little bit hard to get because it's a different market. The fabrics are usually, the weather usually affects the fabric that, you have. So that is one thing I've been thinking about. I want to go international. I want to open branches in different countries. So currently, right now, actually what I'm working on is developing a website, an international website, so that I can be able to attend to my international clients easy. And I want to break into the international market, and I know it's gonna be very hard actually, because at the end of the day we have so many big brands over there. But I believe in my work, I believe what I do, I believe that I've got the potential to break into there. inside that market. So that's what I'm working on right now. Currently I'm working on developing a website whereby, you know, I can be able to tend to my international clients, and that is one of my sole focus right now, because I feel like in Kenya I've quite established myself. Basically, in whatever that you want to start, let's say like it's fashion. First of all, make sure when you're venturing into fashion, you're getting into fashion because of the right reasons. Don't do it because someone else is doing, because at the end of the day, if someone else is the one that's, you know, making you do it, what happens when they stop? Will you also stop? So whatever you're doing, you have to get into that with the right mentality, with the right reasons, so that at the end of the day you can be able to keep on pushing. So I'd advise anyone who wants to start a fashion brand, first of all, after you've identified, you know, I have an interest in whatever aspect in fashion that you have, I feel like it's good to establish a mentor, because a mentor is someone who can help you really much to push, you know, to get into the market without so much challenges, because they have been there. Go and talk to those people. If you've identified someone that's doing something that you love, go and talk to them. Ask them, I want to start this. What can I do? How can I do this? If you're in a position, you can, you know, ask them for a position there, even if it's an attachment, because at the end of the day, it's all about the growth, it's all about the skills, it's all about the knowledge. So for you to be able to be good in something, one of the basic things that you have to do is to put yourself out there into that market, interact with the right people, let them tell you this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're not supposed to do, because if you don't do that and you decide to start on your from scratch by yourself, you're gonna hit so many challenges that you could have avoided if you took the other road. My business has grown through referrals. So, and shout out to everyone who has ever won Mr. Royalty, who is wearing Mr. Royalty. I couldn't have been here without you guys. So I believe in any business, customer satisfaction is one of the most critical, and it's most in capital letters, because a customer will come back depending on how the services they were given, how they were treated, the time that, you know, it took to get that service, how honest you are. So one of the things that I usually don't joke about is my clients. I always try my best to make sure everyone that's walking out through this door walks out with a happy heart, because a happy client will always come back with friends and all that. And I've been in instances whereby, you know, you work with a client, and by the time you go 3 years, by the time you go 4 years with that same client, they've brought you like 20 more people. So I feel like it's very critical for you to be able to appreciate your clients, because if you don't take care of your clients, then you won't be taking care of your business. One thing that most people don't know about me is that I am a graduate from the University of Nairobi, Wildlife Management and Conservation. And funniest thing is that even if when I was in campus I was chasing the fashion industry, I was still pushing hard on my studies, and I had a first class. That is something not so many people know, and it was the only first class in my department. So yeah, so many people don't know that side of me because I've never chased it as much. And yeah, but now you know. Mr. Royalty is a fashion brand that deals with different type of outfits. We deal with suits, we deal with dresses. Like if you bring us your wedding, we can take the whole package, the kids. The only thing that right now we don't do as much are the wedding gowns, but the dresses for the bridesmaids, the suits, the kids, all that, that is something that you do. The Africans, when you're going to your rurashio, that is also another thing that we do. As long as even the corporate events, we usually do that, like, you know, the t-shirts, the tenders. So generally anything to do with attire, that's what we do. We also have another upcoming shop that it's Royalty Shelves. It's, you know, this is one way of me also giving back to, you know, community and people, because you find like so many people that are trying to start business, it's quite hard to get a place in town, and the rent is expensive and all that. So we have another shop whereby, you know, we rent out shelves, you know, shelves that are going for 1,000, 1,500. So instead of you investing into a shop and you're not ready there, or you're employed somewhere else, if you have your own business, whatever you do is just offer a shelf whereby you can just come and put things on the shelf, and you pay the 1,000, the 2,000, the 1,500, and then we offer storage for you, and we also be able to, you know, serve your clients as they come. You don't have to be here. You just tell them, we have a shop here, just go there, and you know, you'll be attended to. And that's another thing that we also do.